What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to Zach Hankins for the donation to the channel via the Cash App. Salute to you. He's been a frequent supporter of this channel, whether it's monetary compensation as well as excellent questions as far as basketball and sometimes life and politics. Not just him, but so many of you guys had some great questions, and I want to salute you all. So a question that Zach had for me was, what do I think about Jeff Van Gundy becoming, apparently he's going to be the lead assistant for the Clippers. He's going to be the lead assistant for Ty Lue. And just to speak on Jeff Van Gundy for a minute, of course, he was, in my opinion, unceremoniously and unjustly fired by ESPN. Of course, he was on the lead team with Mike Breen and Mark Jackson. They had been together for quite some time. They weren't quite as entertaining as the TNT crew, but they were close, especially Jeff Van Gundy. The dynamic between Van Gundy and Mark Jackson was excellent. Breen was the straight man in the act. Mark Jackson was sort of the middle stooge, you want to call it that. And Jeff Van Gundy was the comic foil. And it worked. But because of the poor judgment of the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, who apparently, according to reports, leaned on ESPN to get rid of Van Gundy because Van Gundy is an open and honest guy. You know, it's one thing because Charles Barkley gets to say pretty much things that we're all thinking, and he's beloved for it and admired. But for instance, you know, that's what makes him partially so beloved by many, even if sometimes his opinions can rub us the wrong way. But Van Gundy, for some reason, people just looked at him as a crotchety old man. I have my theories as to why that was the case too, but I'm not going to get into that. But apparently they fired him. And I think it's been to a detriment because I think we can all say that the team of Breen, Doris Burke, and JJ Redick was horrible. Now Redick is going to be gone. So who's going to fill that void? You know, hopefully somebody that's entertaining. But anyway, Van Gundy, ever since he was fired, was an assistant with the Boston Celtics. And you can say that he had something to do with them winning the championship. Of course, it was the players, it was the coach, but he was a welcome presence. You know, it was a yin and a yang type thing. He obviously, having been out the game for a while, as far as coaching or being a personnel as far as a franchise, he probably absorbed some new ideas from some of the younger staff with the Celtics. I understand they have one of the youngest staffs there. Then, of course, his experience, he was able to teach certain things to the younger members of the staff, and especially the players, communication. He was a valuable asset. So he's going to bring that, I think, to L.A. This may be something that's been forgotten, but Tyronn Lue was a player that played under Jeff Van Gundy some 20 years ago, back in 2004, I think it was, with the Houston Rockets. Now, it's interesting to note that that particular team was fourth in defensive efficiency, and they led the NBA in fewest points in the paint. They yielded the fewest amount of points to paint. That's a team that had Yao Ming in his prime. It had a Dikembe Mutombo who wasn't quite the same force, but still had a lot left for the tank. And when you think about it, almost all of Van Gundy's teams were really good on defense. The Knicks and the Houston Rockets. Matter of fact, with the New York Knicks, Van Gundy was 248 and 172. And that's I think it's a 59% win percentage. He was 37 and 32 in the postseason. 20 season with the postseason with the Knicks, including a 1999 NBA Finals run. Altogether, when you combine his record with the Knicks and the Rockets, it was 430, 318, and 44 and 44 in the playoffs. So Van Gundy, for the first time this past season, became an NBA champion. So hopefully he can help the Clippers in a variety of ways. As I just stated, Van Gundy knows a little bit about defense. Now, I don't know whether he'll be the quote-unquote defensive guru for the Clippers, but defense has been one of the things that have hurt the Clippers. Now, of course, Russell Westbrook has been able to reinvent himself as a defensive player in the last few years. But overall, the Clippers have not been a good defensive team. And that has been part of the problem. That and some of their star players, Kawhi, not being available, have always shot them, and also not being clutch performers, Paul George, that's hurt them. So maybe that, Van Gundy, if he is their defensive guru, maybe that can be an helpful addition to the team. Plus, he's a champion now. Plus, he's a well-known and well-liked and well-respected personality. So I can't help but see anything but positives with Jeff Van Gundy joining the Clippers staff, let alone the fact that many of the Clippers staff under Tyronn Lue have left. They've left. One of them, I can't think of his name, he's moved on to become an assistant with the Chicago Bulls. I think he was a defensive expert. So, excuse me. So, Jeff Van Gundy should be an asset to the Clippers. Now, how much of one, I don't know. We'll have to wait to see, but I think he'll be a welcome addition. Jeff Van Gundy has not been a coach since 2007. Although he has coached in the Olympics or in USA basketball, I should say. He hasn't been an assistant coach since Don Nelson was fired back during the 95-96 season. That's when Jeff Van Gundy still had a little bit of hair left. Matter of fact, I think Jeff Van Gundy, when he became a head coach, I think he was only 34 years old. He looked 49, but he was 34. So this is a guy that's been even before that, he was an assistant for several, I want to say since 92. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he became an assistant under Pat Riley like in 92, 93. So this guy's been in NBA for over 3 decades. So that's a lot of experience. So he's going to be nothing but a valuable asset to the Los Angeles Clippers, a franchise who needs everything to tilt them in favor of being a winner. I'm going to tell you something, man. The day that the Clippers win a championship is the day. This is when all will be right with the world with me. When the Clippers win a championship and the Buffalo Bills win a Super Bowl is the day that I will be truly a happy man. Not so much I'm a Clippers fan, but because I like to see Cinderella, or not Cinderella. I like to see miracles, I guess that's a better way of putting it. I like to see miracles occur. You know what I'm saying? If the Clippers ever win a championship, that's one of the biggest miracles ever. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.